Good evening and welcome to another special circumstances video review. Today we're going to take a look at the Sunwayman V20C, that's Victor 20 Charlie. This is from their variable line. I should point out right from the get-go that since I've been carrying this for a while, I have made a couple of modifications, notably the clip. This does not come with it. So, bearing that in mind, let's take a look at this light. So this is one of their variable lineup, and basically what they mean by that is they will, all of them have some variation on this particular control ring. This is a magnetic control ring, and this one is what's referred to as an infinitely variable control ring here. So what we have is a range of settings, and we're looking at roughly let's see, 45 degrees or so between off all the way to the max, and just a little bit further to the strobe. So total output, or max output on this, is 480 lumens. The lowest output is somewhere along the lines of 1 to 1/2 lumen. This is a forward clicky. What's kind of neat is that you actually have two ways of locking this out. You can have it on like this, but the ring can be off. And then you can turn it on and control it entirely with the ring. So that's the lowest setting right there. And we're going to ramp up, and I'm not sure how the camera is going to react to that, but you can see clearly the increase, and that's the max. And then we're going to go just a little bit further and we'll hit the strobe. Very annoying, really screws with the camera as far as I can tell, at least on this side. So forward clicky, very nice action, very positive. As you can see, the light itself is extremely bright. There's not a whole lot of knurling on this one. You have a band of knurling here on the control ring, with the flat portion here with the arrow, which indicates, of course, the setting, the current setting. You have a band of knurling on tail cap. It is capable of tail standing. It actually, and this of course is convenient, it tail stands perfectly when it's on. Not so well when it's not on, which makes a certain amount of sense. And it's something that I've noticed with other lights as well. So not really anything groundbreaking. Machining, like always with Sunwayman, is exceptionally good. Anodizing is nicely color matched. There really weren't any chips in it. You will note that there are a couple of marks right here. That's for me screwing with this clip here, which I appropriated from a different light. And there's a few chips along the edges, but I've also been carrying this for a few months. But generally speaking, this is, as always with Sunwayman, just an exceptionally machined light. All the lettering, I don't know if I can get the camera to even focus on this here. Let's see, there we go. So all the lettering is very crisp, very clean, has a stainless steel bezel ring. It is a flat bezel ring, which means, you know, if you set it down on a non-translucent surface, like this pad here is slightly translucent, so you know you can actually see the light. But if you set it down on like a tabletop or something like that, you can't see if it's on. So you know that could be a consideration for some people, but I'm not particularly worried about it myself. I do like the fact that it does have a stainless steel bezel ring, because that does provide a lot more strength and durability. Say for instance, if you were to drop it and it lands on the bezel, much stronger than aluminum, so that's nice. You can see the fins are cut in here to the head. Just a really nice light. Like I said, I've been carrying this for a little while now. It's not as small as some of the other lights. It's kind of chunky. but it's, you know, under 6 inches long overall, exactly 5.2 something, I think it is. Head diameter is fairly typical, about 1.26 inches, and just a really super nice light. All the threading, and you'll see pictures of this, all the threading is square cut. You really can only open it from this end, as this part here is, well, it's probably Loctited to hell and gone, but that's also where the control ring is. Now, if I had to level any complaints against this particular light, it would be that the control ring is not really user serviceable. That could be an issue if, say for instance, you manage to, you know, wash out the grease inside. I also think that the action is not always totally predictable. So it might seem a little stiff when you first move it, and then you'll get it going and it's nice and smooth. And I think it's just the way they've actually made this control ring. And I've not had any issues with lint or gunk or anything like that clogging it up. But it is a consideration. I will say the tolerances on Sunway Man lights or Sunway Man lights are usually extremely good. I have one of their, well, I've reviewed it before, but their M40C, and that has a similar control ring, except it's not an infinitely variable one. It actually has detents between each, you know, each setting. But that one has been through various mines and has been covered in dust and dirt, and I've never had any issues with the action changing notably. So that's something to keep in mind. They seem to be well built overall. Of course, UCL glass lens. It is anti-reflective coated, which is nice. You have a nice orange peel reflector here. Fairly shallow reflector, and it is an XML, XML U2 if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a fairly wide beam, and we'll see if I can capture the beam profile here. And you can see that. That's, you know, you have a nice, fairly nice, even beam, decent hot spot, fairly big hot spot, and then a smooth transition into the outer. You do see some purple around the edges. I think that's actually a function of sort of something unique to the XML, and it is definitely a cool white in this case, but it's a very nice cool white. It's not bluish or greenish or anything like that. So very nice light. I'm really enjoying using this, and it's become a trusty companion, which is pretty much exactly what I was looking for when I settle on this particular light. I tend to run this with 18650s, lithium-ion batteries. You can of course run it with the standard CR123 batteries, and it works just as well. I'm just cheap, so I buy rechargeable batteries and use the living daylights out of those. So really nice little light. I generally like this light quite a bit. I will say I would like to see a factory clip on this. Now you can actually, you can see there's this grip ring that actually comes off, and they use a special kind of threading underneath, which is sort of an extreme version of a square cut thread. But it does mean that it looks fairly normal once this is removed. However, I'm actually using it to sort of hold the clip in place, and I kind of like having the grip ring because it locks the light into your hand quite nicely. You can also control it one-handed, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's an easy fix, but I specifically wanted the infinitely variable control ring, so that's something I'm willing to deal with. What's nice is that you can actually preset the light for what level you want it to be at, and that's you sort of prepare you for the next time you're using it. So if you're Well, like I was having a discussion with a friend, say you're using the low setting to make your way through the house at night, but you want to have it on your nightstand so it's ready to go in case somebody breaks into your house. You can use the low setting, turn it off, crank it up to where you can feel the detent for the max setting. That's the only detent there really is. The other ones are actually stops, not a simple detent. But you can just take it to that max setting so you have it ready to go full blast, or you can take it all the way to the strobe if that's what you want to have as your primary. So very easy to use, very intuitive interface. It's a Sunway, man. These things are usually, as always actually, just extremely nice quality. The standard layout of what comes in the pack, it comes with a lanyard, and you actually have two lanyard holes, or lanyard options. You have the little hole right here, and then you have these guys up here on the tail cap. I'm kind of indifferent to that. I don't generally use lanyards on my smaller lights like this. But if that's something that you like using, then definitely it's a good option. So, see a nice momentary setting. One thing that's kind of interesting, and this is something that I've noticed, on the lower levels, the V20C, and you can kind of see it do it here, it kind of ramps up slowly. So it doesn't just like come on at whatever, like full brightness for whatever setting you have it set on. Ramps up slowly. The only exceptions to that seems to be the smallest or the lowest setting, and the max, which is immediate, and the strobe, which is also immediate. But everywhere in between, it is a slow ramp. It's kind of an interesting feature. I've heard a couple of different reasons posited as to why they have this ramping feature. You don't want to shock the battery or whatever. I honestly don't think that's actually the case, because if that was the case, all the levels, especially the max output should have that particular ramping, but it doesn't. So that tells me that what they're actually trying to do is make this light a little more comfortable to use under extremely dark conditions, in the sense that it gives your eyes just a few seconds to sort of adjust. Whereas if you have it on the max output, odds are you want light right now. And same thing with the strobe. You want light right now, not in a second and a half, however long it takes it to actually ramp up. And then with the lowest setting, of course, well, it's so low that even with dark adapted eyes, it's not likely to be too much of an issue for you. So it's kind of an interesting little feature, and not something that I've seen documented as such, at least not by the manufacturer. And of course, before anybody even asks, yes, this light is made in China. There are actually decent manufacturers in China. Sunway Man is very much one of them, and we've looked at some other ones as well. But anyways, there you have it. That's the Sunway Man V20C. Fantastic little light. You guys should definitely check it out. I'm a big fan of it. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and have a great evening.